Hey, folks, I'd like to welcome our Sheriff, Billy Honsal.
Scott, thanks for having me today.
You look great today.
Well, thank you. I got a good 6 hours sleep last night. I'm feeling good.
If I could only do that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, the 6 is good. So pleasure to have you. Tell us a little bit about the Billy story.
Yeah. Born and raised in Humboldt County. It's something that take a lot of pride in. Went to local schools, Eureka High School. I went to College of Redwoods. My parents, local. My dad was a 30-year veteran of the Eureka Police Department.
Wow.
And he retired in 2001 as a patrol commander, captain of the police department. My mom was a school teacher, started out, worked her way up into principal job at elementary school, vice principal, principal at one of the junior highs, and then became associate principal at Eureka High School.
Wow.
So their public service has kind of been in my background.
Local. Yeah. Through and through. Yeah.
And so it's, it was always kind of instilled in me and kind of a part of it. So
I've never done this before, but you ready?
Yes.
You're 100% Humboldt.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Exactly.
And a lot Eureka.
A lot Eureka, a lot of Humboldt Bay, grew up on Humboldt Hill. And, back in the day in the 80s where you can ride your bicycle everywhere.
Everywhere.
I rode it to Eureka, on the highway, went out to Elk River, Cutton, visited friends, and it's just something that you don't see anymore. And
right. And ride it safely as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Rode down the country club market, got different things, came back home.
Get your candy and your soda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I grew up in San Diego, same thing. You could take the bus for where we lived in National City, south of there, and you could go downtown and play, the video games and look at record stores and pinball and eat at Jack in the Box. And 10 years old, didn't worry about it. It's a little different world.
It's a different world. Yeah. I think, information is always a good thing. Sharing information, the internet, always a good thing. But when we hear and see so much now, it kind of freaks people out. And you think that there's, a bad guy around every corner or, can you trust your neighbors and that kind of stuff? And people tend to isolate themselves now wherever they go.
Yeah, I'm a big anti-fan of like the division of whether it's politics or media, there's a division out there and it's super weird and I don't buy it. And yet it's so propagated.
Exactly.
Yeah. Us and them, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon.
I learned something the other day. The word university, we send people to the university to get an education. And, someone broke that down to me and said, originally, university was all about being diverse, having unity in diversity.
I like it.
So having that as a guiding principle, it's like, hey, we can all be diverse, but we have to all be unified in our diversity. We can't be segregated. We can't be separated. We can't, even though we have differences, we have to be united. And that's what really, America is supposed to be about. Right. And so I thought that was a really, really good thing.
We lost some ground, but hey, I think we're going to get it back. I went to Humboldt State Diversity.
Yes.
Wait, how would I say?
Yes.
Wait, Cal Poly.
Yes, I know Cal Poly.
It's Cal Poly. Everybody rolls their eyes and has to correct themselves anymore.
I know.
So who was Billy Honsal at, say, 15? What were you, what's a given day? What were you about? What were your goals?
Yeah. At 15, there was a transition there. I was a big soccer player growing up.
Oh, really?
And I played soccer, traveling soccer.
Oh.
And then at 15, I learned that, a lot of high school girls didn't really go to soccer games.
No, they don't care about that.
They didn't care about that. And as a high school boy, I thought I need to go play football. So they always need kickers in football, right? So I decided to go out and try to be a kicker.
Oh, wow.
Turns out that I couldn't kick a football,
It's
different. And, but I could catch a football. So I learned how to be a wide receiver, a tight end. And
Eureka High?
At Eureka High School, played my sophomore through a senior year.
Were you guys good those years?
You know what? We were okay. Arcata was the school to beat.
Interesting, yeah.
Ramey Dickinson was the running back from Arcata, and also Del Norte was tough. But we had a good team. We made the playoffs and got smoked. We went to 1 year went to De La Salle in Concord, played on their
Catholic school, right?
Yep. Yeah. And they were part of their undefeated seasons. I think they had 12 years of undefeated seasons. We were part of that stat of being defeated by them.
Of that loss.
Yes. Yeah. So, good times.
Yeah,
high school.
That's great.
So 15, I was heavily involved in church in my youth group as well, and Bethel Church in Eureka.
Sure.
And just that was definitely a part of who I was growing up.
Right.
And then just being involved in student government, and being involved in school, and hanging out with my friends.
Did you meet your wife in school, or how did you guys meet?
My wife, I didn't know my wife in high school. She was a year older than me, went to Fortuna High School.
Oh.
And we had mutual friends, which was weird.
Small county, you would have that. Yeah.
We had mutual friends, but we never heard of each other. And I met her at College of Redwoods. Funny, I saw her one day, and I thought, wow, she's a beautiful girl. I need to meet her. And then, once you see something, you start seeing over and over again. So I started seeing her in different places, random places around. And,
not random, Billy.
It's not random. Okay, I was stalking her. I'm sorry. Okay.
I don't believe that either.
Yes. But I ran into her at SFO. I ran into her at a different spot. I was working at the Ingomar at the time as a bus boy, and I served her, and her parents dinner. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I finally met her at all places, the Fortuna Rodeo.
Of course.
Yes. It was actually 30 years ago this last month that I met her.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many kids?
We have 4 kids.
Right.
3 boys and a girl.
Nice.
Age 22, 20, 16, and 7 now.
Oh, teenagers. And the baby.
Yeah. So we got the spectrum.
So people go, hey, 9 kids, Scott and Joni. We have 9 that are 40 to 19. And it's like, I always laugh at guys with 4 or 5, because you got all the comments. Yes. Oh, you have such a big family.
I know.
Oh, it must be brutal. Like, not really.
Exactly.
The older kids do all the labor.
Yeah. It's still manageable. We still have a car that we can fit everyone in.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you teach the older ones to do chores.
Yeah.
Get in there and chore it up, man. What are you doing here? Why are you
exactly.
talking?
Yes.
Yeah. There's chores now. Go.
Yep.
So tell, who were you at 20 then? You were started to go to CR probably?
Yeah. I went to College Redwoods. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at the Ingomar as a busboy, and I was also working construction. A good friend of mine, Steve Strombeck, employed me in his construction company.
That's funny.
I knew nothing about construction.
Early Steve.
Steve. Yeah. And so he, him and his construction company taught me what it was to actually work for a living and to work with my hands and to build things and to learn how to do things. And it was something that was totally foreign to me. My dad really didn't build anything. He didn't, teach me any of the trades, that kind of stuff. But I learned that, and also learned work ethic.
Nice.
Steve instilled a sense of work ethic, always giving 110%, always getting there early, doing the job, and being a good communicator, what it takes to get the job done.
It's cool.
And I was, I was really happy with that. Got skills enough to get in trouble later on when I bought my own home. I figured I could do some of my own,
I got this.
my own stuff. My wife still is, is feeling the heat of that because she, there's things that we built. I built a house 20 years ago, and there's still projects at the house I still need to complete.
Oh, you built the entire home?
Well, no. I should say there was things that I was supposed to do in the home as it was built, and I'm still working on those today.
Of course you are. With a honey-do list, and get on those chores.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, Steve's great. 100% Humboldt guy. And,
yep.
I think there's some dimensions to that. He's a big giver to Redwood Teen Challenge and different things. But yeah, what a neat guy.
Exactly right. And that's one of the things he taught me was, you have to give back. You have to give back to your community. You have to give back to the people and also the organizations that you believe in. And, and he's not someone just to, I guess, blindly give. There has to be some kind of result.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There has to be something. But, one thing that he is also, he's a man of faith. And if God puts something on his heart to do,
he goes for it.
Does it. Yeah. He doesn't question his faith. He doesn't question. He trusts God, and he goes and does it.
Yeah.
And he provides example after example of him doing that and seeing the fruit of that. And so I try to live like that as well.
Yeah. And he started very small, right? He did. Wasn't his dad a builder or
his dad was a local businessman. And
was he a trash guy?
He was. He was part of the city garbage
of Eureka.
City garbage. But Steve started out really small, and there's a lot of adversity that he had to experience early on. But he overcame a lot of stuff, and then God has blessed him over the years. He started buying different things, and he told me, one of the other things he told me, he said, get into real estate. buy your first house. At 20, you should buy a house. He told me you should buy an apartment, buy a duplex,
Should have
live in
bought
one
the
side.
house.
I'm like, yeah. You know, when houses were,
Nothing.
100,000, you know,
Yeah.
or 80,000.
Or
And,
50. Remember that?
so-
Old people?
you look back, it's like when someone told you, hey, you should buy Apple stock in the 90s. It's like,
Right.
yeah, okay, whatever, I'll get on
Right.
that. You know, but he gave that same advice, you know, over and over again. He was giving
funny.
advice like that. And of course, being a 20-year-old kid, I was just worried about my next car I was going to buy.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking long term, but
Yeah.
I wish I would have thought about that from
Yeah.
the very beginning.
We have a guy we insure, and he was a builder in Cupertino down in Apple Country,
Yep.
Silicon Valley, and he had a guy from Intel that couldn't pay him for the cabana he built. He built this ornate thing by his pool, and he goes, "Hey, bro, really sorry." And he goes, "All I got is some stock in this little company called Intel." he goes, "Well, okay."
Yeah.
He still had it's only flip, doubled. What do they call
exactly.
it? When it
Split.
splits.
Yes.
It's only split like 100 times.
Exactly.
And it's the most valuable asset he has.
Right.
Because it's just incredible. So, and as for Joni and I, we invested in children.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
our legacy is going to last in a different way.
Exactly. Please take care of me, children.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
Exactly.
I'm
Because I'm investing in you. You invest
I'm going to
in me.
need it
Yes.
for sure. That's funny.
Yeah.
So 20, did you play soccer at CR?
I didn't. I went through and I just got a general education, but when I met my wife at 20,
Mhm.
I decided that
You too.
yes,
Weird. Yeah.
yeah, I decided that she was going to be the one I needed to marry, and
Nice.
I looked around and I wasn't thinking law enforcement when I first got out of high school, but I
Sure.
kind of got toward kind of going that way, thinking how can I support a wife
Wow.
and I don't know. I just started taking administration of justice classes out at College Redwoods, and it interests me. And I have my background with my father, and it was always something that I felt like I was good at
Mhm.
and I was interested in. So I went to the police academy in 1995
How about that?
and put myself through. And
Did you graduate and everything?
I graduated. Yes,
You did.
I was successful. I was no near the top of my class,
Mhm.
and I was just someone that was there just to I learned, had a good time, and
Nice.
and learned a lot. And at that point in time, there was people hiring here in the county, but I
Mhm.
felt like I wanted to make my name outside of the county. I didn't want my dad to have influence. He was still working here.
Good for you.
And so the first job that was offered to me was the city of Madera Police Department.
Whoa.
Talk about culture shock.
Middle
so
of
we
the
go,
valley, yeah.
So we go from basically the heart of the Redwoods to the heart of the Central Valley. It's right there in the middle.
It is.
And it is a totally different environment. We
Yeah.
have farmland. It is a city that's divided by railroad tracks,
Right.
and the old analogy of other side of the tracks. It was like that in Madera. If you lived on the east side, you were a totally different economic status than the
Wow.
west side,
Wow.
and totally different. We had a big migrant population down
Sure.
there, and migrant farm workers. And I actually used the 2 years of Spanish that I learned in high school.
Mucho
you know,
gusto.
Yeah, a lot down there.
Right.
And,
That's cool.
And it was really cool.
You still speak?
Senora Quimby from Eureka High School, would be proud of me. And so, yeah,
Mucho
I can
gusto.
I can still speak. Manos arriba,
Yeah.
dar vuelta.
Dos
yeah.
cervezas, por favor.
Sí,
Mucho
yes.
gusto.
Mucho cervezas.
Mucho.
Yes.
So was it more violent down there in the sense of
was more-
gangs and stuff?
A lot of gang activity. It's
Yeah.
right there in the middle of California. So we had this Norteño Sereno Mexican gang
Right.
issue, and the gangs were very violent. I was first on scene from a couple different gang homicides,
Wow.
and so we had a gang unit. There was a lot of activity there, but it was a very good department.
Yeah.
But I was making $12 an hour,
Right.
being a police officer in the Central Valley,
Yeah.
and doing this. So the next step, my wife wanted to go in to be a dental hygienist, and one of the dental hygiene schools is in the Bay Area, and so she wanted to go there. So I needed to look for a job in the Bay Area. The city of Sunnyvale was hiring, and it's a public safety department. They do both police and fire.
Huh.
And I thought, unique. I've always kind of wanted to be a fireman. You know
Yeah.
what? I mean, it seems easy work to me.
Who
you know?
wouldn't? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, they
Sit around and
sit around 24-hour shifts. You kidding me? I mean, fire doesn't shoot back. I mean,
Right.
how hard can this be? And they sit around, they work out at night every day,
yeah,
and
it's
they watch
Life
the
of
TVs.
Riley. Yeah.
It is. And you know what?
Not true.
Well, I can speak to that in a little bit. I got hired by the city of Sunnyvale. It was a great job, and fantastic opportunities was provided there. My wife went through hygiene school in the Bay Area.
Is that East Bay?
It is South Bay. It's right in the heart of Silicon Valley.
It's right in Silicon. Okay, I got
So
you.
it's on Cupertino, right there.
It's right there.
Right there. So you have Yahoo, that's the center of Sunnyvale. You have Apple, that's there.
Is Google,
National
Google
Semiconductor. Google's in Mountain View, but
Just up
Google
the
does have a footprint in Sunnyvale as well. But it's right in the middle of Silicon Valley. The city had a lot of money and a lot of technology, and they were very innovative. That was part of who they were. And I learned a lot about what it takes to be involved in the community and using technology and innovation to be better police officers and do law enforcement better.
Wow.
And it was a fantastic job. I loved the job, so much so that I was probably married to the job. And my wife and I, we decided what's best for us once we had 2 kids. It was probably best for us to move out of the Bay Area and move back to Humboldt because we didn't want to raise our kids there. Sure. I had the commute. I was working odd hours because of the commute, and it just we wanted to raise our kids back in Humboldt County, and so at that point in time, moved back to Humboldt and started my career path here through different law enforcement agencies.
Nice, good journey back.
Yeah.
How many people come back? It's amazing, right?
It is.
There's a percentage.
Yeah, people.
All of ours have gone, and they don't just kind of come back yet.
Yeah, I got a brother that left and went to Sacramento. He's still down there, and my sister left to go to Arizona once she had kids here and decided she wanted to move out of California.
I have a son that's got a doctorate, and they're in Netherlands now. But every time he comes back, he goes, "There's no air like this, Dad. This is the air quality that everybody wants, and it is nowhere else." He loves it.
Right.
So Jesse he goes, "The air."
Exactly.
I go, "Yeah, you're right. It's good air." We're up McKinleyville, so we have ocean air.
Yes.
Then you go in the valley, it's 120 degrees, and you go, "There's no air here."
Right.
It's oven air.
But you go to Willow Creek, you go to Southern Humboldt, and feel the heat and being amongst the redwood trees in that area. It just smells and feels so good, even in the heat. Yeah. And there is something special about Humboldt County. There's something very unique and special, and then the climate and the environment and all of the natural resources. We are so lucky here in the county.
And I would, let's go there because I think there is an intangible about Humboldt County that we're talking around, and I think it probably still will be intangible when we're done talking. But there's something really unique about this place. Part of it's the people, kind of the. There's a real diversity here, good and bad, but there's a real uniqueness to the quality of people I think that we meet in terms of our friend Ron Pileggi left the area, sold his business, and he said the one thing he remembers is that people, even though they were dramatically different in so many ways, they could still get on and get with it and cooperate or have relationships and connection. Yeah. And maybe that's changing in some degree, but I hope not. Anyway. So real quick, back to your soccer days. Was Sean O'Gara playing soccer when you were in high school? He may have predated you at Mac High.
I don't remember that name. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll move through that. So 4 kids.
4 kids.
Nice. So give us a little history about how you got to your job and maybe a little history of the department.
Yeah, it was very unique. I spent my time, when I came back to Humboldt County, I went to the Eureka Police Department. I went to the District Attorney's Office, Humboldt State University, and I worked various positions: police officer, sergeant, DA investigator. I landed back at Humboldt State as a lieutenant. And
do you know Packer?
I know John Packer very well. Yeah, I went to the police academy with him back in 1995. Right? Yes.
You're just at my son's in Oregon going to Alaska to fish.
Oh, yeah.
His first photo was fish, like within hours.
Yeah, crazy. John's an awesome guy.
Great guy.
Yeah. So we, back in 2013, I was approached by Mike Downey. And Mike Downey is a previous sheriff. And he just said, "Hey, you're a lieutenant. I'm opening this undersheriff position up. Undersheriff is the second in command of the sheriff's office." And he said, "Hey, if you're interested, please apply." And that was the conversation we had. I'm like, that was kind of nice.
Oh.
Mike Downey's always been a respectful, good guy. I didn't know him other than, my little interaction I had with the DA's office and just kind of, around, but I didn't really have a relationship with him. And it was really encouraging that he, asked me to apply.
Solid guy.
Solid guy. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Great guy. And so
Nate, his son's a pastor, right? At the neighborhood church or whatever there.
Yes. He's got 5 kids, 6 kids. I forget what, but
they're great.
They're all great. And I think 4 live here in the county.
Oh,
he only has 1 that lives out. And anyway, great guy. And so I was like kind of shocked, but I took it serious and I go, you know what? Why not? So I'm all in. So I spent, I put my application in and I started talking to people. I went to the jail, educated myself about what the jail was all about Office of Emergency Services and all the things with the sheriff's office. And then I interviewed and he offered me the job.
Wow.
And he said, you know what? He said, I need someone to come in and I need someone to be a catalyst for some change that needs to happen within the agency.
Wow.
And so me and him set on a path and said, what do we need to do?
Wow.
And we went out and we started, taking on these different challenges within the department. And I think we essentially turned the department into, going in the right direction. And he's something that he was very proud of. And then in the 3 years that I was there, he decided that he was going to retire. And so in 2017, he retired and decided that, that he could turn the reins over to me.
Wow.
And I was very lucky in, I think it was April 2017, the Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to put me as interim sheriff at that point in time. I ran in 2018, and then in 2022, I ran unopposed as sheriff, and here I am today.
Hey, way to get elected.
I know. I was like, going through an election process, obviously, really stressful.
Right.
But, having to raise money and having to do campaign accounting and all that stuff, totally different.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot, and even though I didn't have an opponent, it was really nice.
So you had to shift this machine into something and maybe not reinvent, but retool it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, of all the stuff that you're over, can we talk about? I mean, there's probably 10 things, right? The coroner's office, the substations.
Yes.
Don't you do search and rescue?
We do search and rescue. Yeah, I can go over all the things we
do.
Would
marijuana be cannabis be a department?
Yes.
You want to talk about maybe 30 seconds or a minute on each of the things that you oversee? And
for sure. So when people think about the sheriff's office, they often think about deputy sheriffs working the street in the county, and that's just one of the things that we do. So when you call 911 in Willow Creek, you're going to get the sheriff's office out there, and we're going to be investigating that crime. That's part of what we do. But legally, the only thing that we're required to do under the law is maintain a jail, to staff the courts for court security, and have an investigative element within our agency to investigate crime. That's it, as far as what we're required to do. But our responsibilities are a lot and immense. So patrol operations, that's what everyone's familiar with. Running a jail is a huge deal.
Huge one, right? Yeah.
Huge one. It takes up half of my staff, takes up half of my budget. It's a 417-bed jail, 155,000 square feet.
Wow.
We have anywhere from 20 correctional deputies that are working on the floor. We have a classification unit. We have a sheriff's work alternative program. All these things within the jail to support this jail population, which is becoming more and more diverse, and more diverse meaning difficulties with mental illness, drug addiction, all those things that we are seeing on the street. It's just magnified in the jail.
Sure.
So that's just another aspect. Courts and civil. So we run all the court security. We run a civil division. So if you want to evict someone and we get those paperwork, we have to serve that paperwork and then evict people from their residences. We run our special services unit, which is our search and rescue unit.
Okay.
We're required to do, patrol all the waterways within the county.
Wow.
So that's
So
the bay, up to 3 miles out.
Let me show everybody the bay real quick. The bay is right here.
Right there.
It's really big.
Very nice.
Yeah, I have. It's my only tool and up here is anyway. Here's the reservation, and here's Eureka. Anyway, sorry about that.
Very nice. So there it is, the bay, and all the the wild rivers that we have here in the county. And so that's part of our job. If there's a boating accident, we have to investigate it. And that's
some of those are really remote places.
They're remote places. Rivers, yeah, exactly. Because you think about a lot of Humboldt County in the north, we can't access unless it's by the river or by air.
Right.
And so we have to launch a boat.
You guys have all kinds of other ATVs and tools and toys and stuff.
All that stuff. Horses. We have a sheriff's posse that has a mounted unit.
Volunteer?
It is a volunteer unit. But we have several deputies that are part of that unit that also, can contribute. But we have a boating unit. We have a livestock deputy that's, because cattle is one of the biggest industries here in the county.
Sure.
And so we want to make sure that is something that is properly investigated. We have cattle theft, cattle loss, and issues with cattle, and we have a deputy that's assigned to that. We have off-highway vehicle deputy. It's a grant position, so all the dunes, all the waterways, that kind of road, all the stream beds, that kind of stuff. They're going to patrol
have a little
those areas.
2x2 or whatever. What do they call them?
Side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah. Have a side-by-side, have ATVs, have all those cool little toys.
Wow. You'd have to up at the dunes.
We have, we're in charge of the drug task force. So all the big fentanyl busts that we hear about, the sheriff's office in charge. It's a multi-agency task force that we bring in other departments in on that. And so we run that. We run our marijuana enforcement team. And we're really the model of how we run our marijuana enforcement throughout the country.
Really?
People have modeled their marijuana units based upon what we do.
Wait a minute. They grow marijuana here?
Well, it's something that grows in Humboldt County. It's
where it started.
Wherever you go,
you
say, "Oh, Humboldt."
Oh, yeah.
Got it, 420.
Funny story. I was with my father-in-law 20 years ago at the Hollywood Bowl. We were seeing a symphony. And I walked down at halftime because they have the box seats and they're empty. And I go, hey, what are the chances we could get down in those box seats? Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
And I had a Cox cable Humboldt. And he goes, oh, Humboldt, huh? I go, Humboldt. He goes, come on in. You might have been fishing for a tip or something, but it was, it's true. It's funny how we get down. So cannabis elephant in the room. Do you want to go there real quick?
I can talk cannabis all day long.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe you want to, but the one place that I think I first saw you and then kind of knew about you was on Murder Mountain.
Yeah.
So that was multi-part series on Discovery?
It's on Netflix.
It was on Netflix. Yeah, it started with one of the cable channels, I think.
Yeah,
maybe it was a Netflix original.
I think they did market it to one of the radio or not one of the stations. Yeah, but it was also Netflix.
So there was like several episodes, right?
6 episodes, I think.
Were you on all of them?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Okay, you haven't. Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's
my wife's seen it. I don't care to watch it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
National TV.
Yeah.
I was on 2 seconds at the end of the Food Network with Guy Fieri down at Ramon's.
You were?
Was it Ramon's? It was Cafe Nooner.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm taking a bite of a sandwich. The last second, they clipped it. And I go, well, I was on TV once.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So, yeah. I don't know. State of the union with cannabis right now. I understand everybody's going broke.
You want to think that's what some people are telling you or trying to explain, but there are plenty of people still making money on marijuana.
Oh, sure.
But it has changed drastically, and I'm very, very happy about that.
And that's mostly the bootleg people making money necessarily?
Well, no, there's still people in the legal market that are making money, but it is an agricultural product. The price is coming down. You have to limit your overhead, just like any business.
Like a business.
Absolutely. And so if you own your land, if you do your own labor, then you might, create more profit for yourself. And so there's still people that are making money. The price does fluctuate. It's a commodity, up and down. And so
it's capitalism, man.
It's what it's about.
Yeah.
And so there are people that are making it. What I'm very, very happy about is a lot of the bad actors, a lot of the people that were here, they weren't local, they bought land, they were trying to make as much money as they possibly could, they were damaging the environment. A lot of those people are gone.
That's great.
Thankful for that because you go out Highway 36, 299, 96, certain areas of Southern Humboldt, and people have abandoned their grows. You see hoop houses that don't have, tarps on them.
They're gone.
And they're gone.
Yeah.
And property values are falling out there. You can afford a 40-acre parcel now. That's not $1 million. And
remember, the Bulgarians had a bad rap. You Bulgarians out there.
Yeah. So there's still organized crime here in the county. There is still bad actors here. We're still finding them. We still get tips on them. We had a big one out Highway 36 at 15 to 20 huge indoor houses and structures that people were growing in, and it's just kind of, that activity does happen. My marijuana team stays busy.
Yeah, I remember Sheriff Downey said he had 7,000 grows, and he had to pick 70. So I don't know if he made up numbers, but the point was that he could investigate and control a fraction.
Yeah, 1%.
Yeah.
It's basically what it was.
Yeah.
But people say, then why do you even do it if it's that narrow, if it's that why are you doing it?
Yeah,
so because the fear of us out there doing this does send people that chance that they will get caught, and so maybe they won't do as much, or maybe they're going to try and hide it, or maybe they're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
There's other areas in the state that don't have marijuana teams.
Right.
And it's being grown everywhere, and it's out of control.
Right.
And I'm thankful because we have a great code enforcement unit here in the county, as well as our sheriff's enforcement team. So so it works really well.
And it's no small thing to kill the plants and the animals and the waterways around a grow. How is that okay on any level?
Right.
And I think of the human damage. I mean, that's another topic, but I think of that environmental damage, and it's like, who could be behind that damage in terms of, well, okay, we're not.
So that's one thing that we did over the last 4 years, is we've told the story of what's actually happening out there. And we painted the picture of what these people are doing to our county. And we said, hey, listen, if you support marijuana, that's great. But let me tell you what marijuana is doing to our county.
Let me show you. I have photos.
Yes.
Here
these
they
are
are.
Photos. These are the environmental violations. And we're bringing all the regulators in, because we recognize that we weren't getting sentences. People weren't going to jail for this. But what we wanted to hammer them with were fines. So if this was a business, then what we can do is say, okay, listen, if you're going to do this and you're worried about your bottom line, then we're going to hammer you with all these fines and violations. So we bring CAL FIRE in when they do an illegal timber conversion.
Fish and game.
Fish and wildlife is a huge deal when they're talking about stream conversions and blocking the streams. We have the water board when they illegally divert water, or they're stealing water, or create a well that they're not supposed to create.
Right.
We have them using certain pesticides that are getting into the waterway. Fish and wildlife, you're going to fine them for that.
Sure.
And then, we have biologists that we bring on board. We also have code enforcement. Our code enforcement units are part of our teams. They're out there looking for illegal structures, illegal grading.
And they can write fines.
They can write huge fines. So we started publishing it, that they had 15 of these environmental fines up to $500,000 that they're going to have to pay.
Is there any reason why we wouldn't?
Right.
Yeah, why you wouldn't. So in effect, then, you've given agencies work.
We have.
Created jobs. Created some purpose in their lives too.
Yes.
And a docket of work to do for years.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
And then we also have created other industry. So because we've done these kind of environmental violations, that they have to do remediation work. So there's people out there that are paid to remediate the properties, taking down the structure, clearing the different areas, all the hoop houses, illegal structures, the illegal grading, legal roadways,
and the waterways,
and do all that restoration work, which is a huge amount of money. People that have legitimate businesses have made some pretty good money because of our, enforcement of illegal marijuana.
So you're over so many things. And so I get busted. I have 17 Jags. I have a whole assortment of horses and $1,000 million in a mattress. Does that help fund the county or y'all, or where does that money go once you guys confiscate? And do you have to give it back?
So it's a civil process. It's separate than the criminal process. The district attorney's office has to coordinate this civil process through the courts. So how this works is, if we get to a marijuana scene where we know it's illegal, and we see assets associated to the illegal industry, we'll call up the DA and say, DA Eads, this is what we have. We want to take this asset forfeiture. Would you agree? Would you process this? And she would then order us to take that. and then we would document it, send her all the details, then she would start that civil process. So then the burden shifts in that civil process. You know, when you're going through trial, the burden's on the prosecution,
right,
to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. When an asset forfeiture hearing comes up, they have to prove they got the money by legal means. A lot of people say, "Oh, no, that $100,000 that was a settlement from so and so, or that was an inheritance, or I just saved up money to buy a car. It's been years." And then, well, you reported on your taxes that you're a fence builder, and you only made $10,000 over the last 10 years.
Right.
So
what's wrong here?
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to levy more taxes at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sounds like justice to me and fairness, but.
So once that money is seized, then it comes, that if a judge says that it was rightfully seized, then it gets dispersed, you know, through the county, and it goes to the district attorney's office, and then whoever agencies helped out, then it gets a certain piece of that pie.
So there's real estate assets too?
Real estate is a little more difficult. We can seize that. We tend to not, because we have to maintain those properties. We have to do all these other things, and we may or may not get it. A judge may order it back, especially if someone's living there oftentimes. But the federal government, they love to seize houses. They love to see cars.
They love that, right?
Oh, they love it. And so they're out there, and if they have a federal nexus to the case that they're investigating, they will seize all properties, houses, everything. They have whole units that are doing that. So we just don't have the resources.
So real quick, a federal nexus would be like, this guy's a federally wanted bad guy, gal.
Let's just say that
they're part of the grow. And
just total hypothetical. Not that this ever happens, but someone's growing here in Humboldt County, and they're shipping to, let's say, New York.
Yeah, and, total hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
You guys in Iowa.
Yes. And so they have, you know, if they intercept that, and the feds decide to take the case, whether it's DEA, FBI, whoever else,
it's federal,
IRS, then they're going to take that, seize it, and then come back and do follow-up here locally.
Wow. As in seizing assets.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that would be the fear of God in some people. You go, if it doesn't go well for me, I could lose it all.
You could lose it all. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why, you know, 6 years ago, whenever it was, you know, when we had an avenue for legalization, out of the 10,000 illegal grows out there, only 2,000 decided that they want to go through the process. And by the time it all shook out, only about 1,000 of them got a...
Is that low to you? Is that unexpected?
I would say so. Okay. I thought a lot more were going to be coming in, but still, I mean, 1,000 is a pretty good number.
Yeah.
And, you know, but Humboldt County could supply all of the West Coast with all the marijuana it needs.
Sure.
But now we have Santa Barbara, Monterey, that are opening up huge greenhouses.
Sierras.
Yeah, they're growing it everywhere.
Yeah. It's really an interesting issue. Moving on to the exciting new developments in terms of your department and associations and other agencies. Who are your top 3 folks that you do business with that you would interface with on a weekly, monthly?
Yeah, Eureka Police Department we're always interacting with the Eureka Police Department, the California Highway Patrol, and the DA's office. Those are the 3 agencies that we're interacting with the most. But we're always, you know, helping out Arcata, Fortuna, Riadale, Ferndale.
Sure.
And you know, we have a great team here in the county. All the law enforcement chiefs meet once a month. Nice. We talk about what's going on with the departments, talk about how we can help each other. And the one thing that we got going too is every Wednesday our investigators meet. So all of our detectives throughout the county meet, and they talk about crime trends, because you know, the criminals don't stay in one geographic area.
Right.
They tend to go across, and the people that are stealing in Cutton are also stealing in Eureka, stealing in Bayside, Arcata. So who's doing this? Who are they?
Where do they
vehicle
live?
Description? And so they start talking, and we have collective, you know, with all those people, 500 years of experience.
Sure.
So use that experience to try and help solve crime.
Got it. So you saw the yellow Ford truck too, John.
Right.
I did. Whoa, what?
Who drives the yellow Ford truck? And say, that's Jim Bob. And
he lives in
here.
Eureka.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
we know where he lives.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So I always do something special as part of the show. And it starts with this.
Is that the lightning round?
Yeah, the lightning round starts. So a couple of things that you like about Humboldt, and you can just wing it.
Trees.
Let's go free flow. What do you like about Humboldt?
I love the trees. I love the environment. I love the people and the climate. I love love our climate.
Nice. Yeah, me too. We called that the envy of Redding last time. I agree with that. What's your so you can go anywhere tonight on this Visa card I throw to you? Where do you guys go to eat?
We love teppanyaki.
Oh, nice.
Bayfront.
Sure.
Yes, we love sushi, teppanyaki.
I haven't been there for a while. That's delicious.
Oh yeah, the kids love it, and
the whole show.
Oh, the whole show. They dig it. So birthday parties, that's the spot to go to.
For those of you in Southern California, Benihana. Think of Benihana restaurant.
That's right.
Used to do all this stuff. So how about coffee? Law enforcement. You love coffee.
I love coffee. You know what I really love? I've been there like nonstop now. Is Dick Taylor's.
Dick Taylor's.
Dick Taylor's chocolates downtown.
Oh,
brand
do you
new
mean
facility.
Dick Taylor's?
Yes.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, that one. Gosh, not only, I mean, those guys are so talented and I love them and the great community people, but I'd never been in their new facility. I didn't know they served coffee. I was happened to be walking by and I'm like,
the coffee is good, yeah.
So I go in there and it's like, oh my gosh. And then they have these treats every day, you know, like new ones, fresh baked, you know, cookies, brownies, and I was like, I had to try something new every time I've been in there, and it's been awesome.
So their drinking chocolate's killer.
Yes,
they don't give you a very big one because you don't need one.
No,
and it is. It's not hot chocolate. It's not watery stuff that your parents drink. It's actual chocolate.
Yes,
and it's like you get about a quarter of the way through, and you go, this is going to be an okay day.
Exactly.
I feel actually pretty good right now.
You better drink it in the morning because you're going to be buzzing all afternoon.
Yeah, no, it's delicious. So yeah. My wife, when she goes to Costco, Joni will go, guess where, to Dick Taylor's.
Yes.
And she gets the fudge pops, which are really good.
Yes.
So we always bring those up to Medford to the kids and grandkids. And delicious.
It's great.
So how about this? Law enforcement, no offense.
Okay.
Favorite donut?
Happy Donuts.
Happy? Okay. She's
Happy
great.
Donuts, she's great. Yeah. So you gotta go get a Happy Donuts.
Yeah.
I like the old fashioned. I like the old fashioned donuts.
Yeah.
Maple old fashioned is probably one of my favorites.
And she's super sweet and supportive of law enforcement.
She is. Yep.
That's great. Yeah. Natalie, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's sweet.
Great. Yeah. And Dustin and Adam are great. They're just Huckleberry Flint and everywhere. Do you know those guys personally?
You know what? I have met him over the years. We've never hung out, but we'll say hi and that kind of thing.
Super great guys.
Yeah.
Just saw them perform at the Folk Life Festival in Blue Lake.
They performed for Teen Challenge last year at their benefit.
That's right.
Dinner.
Yeah. Saw
awesome.
That.
And and then for Sarah Bareilles.
That's right. They opened for Sarah.
I mean, they're awesome music. Their energy, music, the talent that those guys have.
Yeah.
I'm like, how come I can't have just some of that talent? I mean, they can do chocolate. They can like build awesome things and then then play music.
Yeah.
Sing.
And they seem to have some favor in the community that is just wonderful. And they just built 20,000 square foot chocolate factory.
Yep. And I think they want to expand. I think they want to.
Oh, I think they will. Yeah. I think they'll. And they seem to win chocolate awards all the time. I think Adam's our next guest, in fact.
Oh, really?
Come on in, Adam. No, I'm kidding. No, I think he's coming in next week. So
you better bring chocolate.
Yeah, you better bring a lot of chocolate. Nick, you want some chocolate next week?
Yes.
He's good. Yeah, of course he does.
For sure.
So favorite, if you were going to find a trail to hike, where would you go?
I love Bull Creek.
Oh, yeah.
And that whole area, it's just so beautiful. I love the redwoods. I just can't, I never can get over just how beautiful it is, the smells, the sights, and then being there next to the creek, hiking on the trail.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's amazing. So how do you personally give back to Humboldt County when you're not policing?
I'm a soccer coach.
Oh, cool.
So I've coached all my kids through. I'm now a U8 girls soccer coach for my daughter.
Here in Eureka or Fortuna?
Here in Fortuna.
Okay.
And it's an honor to do that.
That's cool.
Also, I'm on the board for Redwood Teen Challenge.
Nice.
And
big
participate there and try and help out that great organization whenever I possibly can.
They're great guys.
Yeah. And
with great leadership.
Yes, great leadership and actually making an impact, changing lives in the county. So,
speaking of which, 3 things that you're proud of.
My marriage, my children.
You married up.
I married up. Yes.
Say we all.
Yes.
Hi, Joni. Love you.
Yes. And then, I love my friends, but also love the department. I love the sheriff's office.
Nice.
We have so many great things going, and the people are what makes the sheriff's office. And the people that I work with are amazing.
Nice. Did you know Steve Knight before you retired?
Yes, of course.
So you run the animal shelter too.
Yes.
Gosh, how do you run all that? It's got to be like a management crazy.
Exactly.
thing.
Have a great team. That's the only way it happens is if you have a great team that helps manage all of that.
Yeah.
And so we have Andra Hale up at the shelter. She's the manager up there. She does a fantastic job because, I mean, we have kittens and cats and dogs and all sorts of animals that come in there every day. And she finds a way to shuffle to make that space work because it should be probably twice the size that it is.
Right.
We should have twice the staff that it is. And she makes it work because also community volunteers.
Sure.
People volunteer up there every day. I'm so thankful for those people because they're out there walking the dogs.
That's cool.
They're looking for adoption.
Wow.
And then we're able to run that facility because of the volunteers.
And you got the SWAT team.
SWAT team too.
The SWAT
crisis negotiation team.
Who's the other guys? The volunteers, the senior.
Oh, they're the
SWAP.
No, not the SWAT program. It's
the other one.
Gosh. It is the
they drive around sheriff cars and
SCOPE program.
SCOPE. That's right.
Sheriff Citizens on Patrol. I'm sorry that I couldn't remember.
Mostly seniors.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, they're not senior citizens on patrol. Some people might mistake that. It's Sheriff Citizens on Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're big in McKinleyville.
They are.
Actually, I haven't seen one for a while, but yeah, they are. So what do you see for the future of Humboldt?
I think we're in a transition, Scott. When you seriously think about Humboldt County, we have to start making some really smart decisions on where we want to be. There's a lot of great ideas coming forward, but in reality, we don't have the housing, we don't have the infrastructure to really support all this great stuff that's happening.
Right.
And so we really have to take this seriously. We can't just look at low-income housing anymore as a solution to all of our problems. We have to look at housing in general, workforce housing. And look at ways that we can expand that here in the county. We are not going to survive here because already the workforce has moving out of here.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have enough talent to support the existing jobs. When we bring in the fish farm, offshore wind, when we bring this fiber line that's going to have data centers.
Where are they going to live?
Where are they going to live? How are we going to support it? When Cal Poly expands another 5,000 students, where are they going to get that support?
Yeah.
All Cal Poly is going to do, because it's a state facility, they're going to pay higher wages, and all the other people within the county are just going to go work there.
Yeah.
And it's going to deprive all the services. We can't keep doctors here.
Yeah.
Because there's no place for them to live.
Good point.
And also they look at, for people with longevity, people are seniors that want to spend their time here. Look at healthcare. If we don't have stable healthcare here, then people are going to move out to where there is healthcare.
Right.
So we have to get serious about this, and we have to stop worrying about some of these minor things and start looking at housing, prioritizing that, find a way to incentivize it. There are a lot of lots that can be developed right now, but contractors say they just don't pencil. They're not going to make enough money right now. So how can we incentivize these contractors to build on lots that we have, and then also incentivize things like the Kramer project out in Cutton? It shouldn't cost that much to develop out here. And we all have to find a way to make it work. It's a subdivision. I don't remember how many different homes that are there, but it's those kind of projects that the county has to get behind. Yes, it's going to be inconvenience. Yes, there's going to be more traffic, but if we want our county to survive, we have to make this kind of stuff work.
Sure. Well said. I think Nancy Olson said it. She goes that all of that, plus the clock is ticking right now. And it's ticking quick.
We should have been doing this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
During
or 20.
well, 20, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, just thinking, why is it taking so long?
I like what you said about just conceptually the workforce housing. That's this is a job for Steve Strombeck.
Yeah.
That you could create, I don't know, there must be some progressive idea they do in Europe or back east that is dormitory-ish or cabin something somewhere, but
it's more than that. It's maybe just smaller homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house somewhere where someone can have a family and their own little spot.
Yeah.
But when you talk about housing too, it needs to be the workforce, the small condos, townhomes, 1-2-bedroom homes, all the way up to the $1 million homes.
Yeah,
because everyone wants to upgrade their house from time to time, right?
You're right.
And so everyone wants to go higher.
There's this bell curve of homes that we need.
Yeah, so we have to continue to do that. We have to build the spectrum, and we have to realize that and start developing. If we do this for our county, we're going to see exponential growth here. And people might say, well, why do we want exponential growth in the county? Because it's going to help our county thrive. If we don't, we're going to see an economic depression come in and sit in, and it's going to be in here for years. And we're not going to have any thriving businesses because we don't have a workforce to support anything.
Right. People will come into town and go, why do I see 10,000 homeless here?
Right.
So I just did some math in my head. So if there is no house, there's already a housing shortage, and 5,000 jobs come in and 5,000 students or whatever the number is, and they have money and they can figure out how to get housing, at some point, the lowest on the food chain are going to be homeless.
Right.
Because escalation of rents and inflation, blah, blah, blah. So it occurs to me that that's going to be real troublesome for police work.
It is.
You know, that sooner or later, it's like everybody's living in a van down by the river. That doesn't work. And
right.
Scary scenario.
It is a scary scenario because when I'm trying to recruit young officers and I say, yeah, come up here, we pay a pretty good wage, but then you start looking around and go, well, I can afford something in Kern County. You know, well, it's Bakersfield, but still there's nice places in Kern County.
I could get a house.
I can get a house.
Yeah.
I can, and then I have money to spend, you know, and you have people now that are buying $350,000 fixer-uppers.
Right.
And, with minimal down payment, and they're paying $2,500, $3,000 a month for a house payment. You're going, how can you afford
on one
this?
income? It's just, impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah. So, real quick before we go, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh man, I want people to remember me to be, or to be a caring person. I believe that I'm put here in this position by God. And I don't think there's any other explanation for it. I want to be remembered as a godly man that did his best to trust in the Lord and to do His work. And He put me in this position to be sheriff. I believe that, and I'm just trying to follow Him in His direction every day. And so I would love to be remembered that way. And
nice.
But it's
Took your stewardship seriously.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I'm far from that. But it just means that,
I don't know of anybody that is. So last two questions, and sometimes they save these for last.
Okay.
Who are you? And what do you want?
Yeah.
And kind of similar to what you just kind of didacted on, but who is Billy Honsal?
It's something, that's, it's a good question. It's something we should ask ourselves every day. Who are you? What do you want to be? And, I want to say that I'm a kind person that is people focused and living outside of myself.
Good.
I want to give back, and I want to not worry about me and worry about others. My family really is everything. And I could really get emotional thinking about how, how much I love them, and I want to provide for them, and I want to shelter them, and I want to have a community that they stay in and grow in and get married and have kids. And I really want to see that from my family. And so that's just on my mind all the time.
That's part of who you are and what you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want a safe community. I want a thriving community here in Humboldt County. And I want people to get back to being united and caring for one another and not being self-centered. Yeah. Not being selfish, giving back. And and that's something you just don't see anymore.
I think we all really want that, and are going to commit with you to work on that.
Good.
Good. So on your tombstone, what does it say? What's your phrase?
Oh, what's my phrase?
What's my phrase?
It's not, I did it my way.
Okay. It's not. I know what it's not. I had a lady answer. She goes, I'm being cremated and just buried under a tree. There is no tombstone.
There is no tombstone.
All right. That's great.
Yeah. It's, I hope my legacy lives on through my kids,
Amen.
And so having that somewhere on the tombstone is, I live through them and through their kids.
Talk to my kids.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Yeah. Hey, Billy, thanks for coming.
Scott, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Having you, man. And bless you, and Godspeed to all law enforcement in Humboldt County and beyond.
Thanks you very much. Appreciate it.
Bet.